Hello and welcome back to Pyramid. We've just taken delivery of this brand new Honda Hornet 1000. It's going to be one of our development bikes for the next year. We've got lots planned for this bike. I'm going to take you through all of our ideas, our thoughts and our plans in this video. And for the first time, touch base with fellow Honda 1000 Hornet owners as well. We like to keep in touch with the community so we can sort of decide what to make based off the feedback that we get from owners of this particular bike. So let's get straight into this overview of our Pyramid Moto plans. So, here she is, look. As you can see, we have picked the Grand Prix Red version. What a stunning colour this is. The bike is also available in matte iridium grey metallic, pearl glare white, and then there is an SP version of the Honda 1000 Hornet as well, which is, I believe, called matte ballistic black metallic, something like that. So I'm going to talk you through the plans that we have now. Feel free, if you are an owner of this bike, pop in the comments, get in contact with us. If you have any ideas that you think this bike needs, let us know. We like to keep in touch with fellow owners. So let's begin. Fly screen, of course, got to do a fly screen of some sorts. What we mean by fly screen is some kind of aesthetic screen that sits around here behind the clocks and just adds a bit of style to the front end of the bike, really. We're not expecting our fly screen to be that functional with deflecting wind. It is just a small little screen at the end of the day for aesthetics, but we are planning on making a fly screen for this bike. Obviously, this is all very early stages, and I can imagine a fly screen like that as well will be a painted accessory in the 4 colours that the Honda Hornet, not Thornet, 1000 is available in. What we tend to do with accessories like the fly screen is make a few different concepts, a few different designs, and actually encourage you guys, you owners of this bike, to vote for whichever one you think is best. Make sure you join the Facebook owners group forums, as that is the place that will be doing all of the voting, and follow us on Facebook as well. Another accessory for the front area of the bike, some sort of frontal wing. Frontal wings, spoilers, GP wings, all the kind of wingy stuff has definitely become more popular over the past few years. We've made a few wings ourselves. The MT10 we made a frontal wing for, the MT09 we made a frontal wing for. They've been quite popular, so frontal wing absolutely on the list of accessories to do. Of course, extender fenders are our bread and butter. We are the home of the extender fender. Of course, we're going to make one for the Honda 1000 Hornet, and as you can tell, we've already got one. The Honda CB1000 Hornet extender fender turns out to fit the exact same guard as the Honda 1000 Hornet. So extender fender we've already managed to launch for this bike because it's not changed from the 750. We are going to consider an extender fender extra for this bike as well. The extra extender fender is just a longer one with some brackets to accompany it, attaches it to the caliper bolts. So we'll look into an even longer extender fender. However, for the time being, the standard extender fender is launched and available to buy now. Radiator guard. I believe Honda do their own radiator guard that you can buy as an optional extra for this bike. We're going to make our own. It's likely going to be a lot cheaper than Honda's. Our radiator guards are usually quite simple, nice plain textured matte black finish, powder coated of course. Radiator guard is more of a functional product than an aesthetic product. It'll keep all the crap that the front wheel brings up from damaging your radiator fins. Radiator guard definitely on the list. Keep an eye out for that. Handguards, of course, we try to do these for most new bikes nowadays. Anybody who's ridden in the cold before knows how horrible it is when your hands get cold. So handguards, just a nice little guard to go from the end of your bar ends round, and we're likely to use the mirror mounting point as well. Some kind of handguard there, just protects your hand from wind and cold. Nobody likes the cold. So handguards will certainly be one of the accessories we do, quite a simple one as well. We definitely think the bike needs a belly pan. There is so much space here, so much void, and to be honest, quite a lot of ugly looking components that could do with being covering. So a belly pan is certainly something that we're going to look into. But something that we've already noticed is it might be quite difficult to make a centre panel for whatever belly pan we try to make. The headers really seem to come out quite far, and we think it's going to be quite difficult to get a centrepiece of the belly pan around the headers safely. So what we may end up doing is just a two-piece belly pan, a panel for the left and a panel for the right. The belly pan though is one that we will probably paint, so you can add that to the fly screen as well. Painted fly screens, painted belly pans, I'm sure will be a thing. Infill panels. Now, a few of these next categories kind of merge into one, but I'll explain as we go through them. So by infill panels, we're thinking of some kind of panel to cover this area here. Not necessarily the front radiator cheeks, that's going to be something else entirely, but we do think that this area of the bike, it needs something. There's just too much going on. We think it could benefit quite nicely with a panel of some sorts. It might be a panel that starts here and covers this entire portion of the engine and maybe meets the radiators. It might only be a panel that sits here just to cover that and leave this exposed. It's even got a weird knob looking thing in there. So we'll be covering that up with some sort of infill panel. They're likely to be a painted product as well. We like the painted ones, don't we? That's likely to be an ABS product. As I said, painted as well though. Now radiator cheek, very similar to the infill panel, however we're thinking of something more specifically in this area with the OEM radiator cheeks. Perhaps it'll be a replacement panel for this here, maybe it'll extend it backwards, extend it forwards, not really sure yet, but we might be playing around with the radiator cheeks of some sorts. This does actually kind of lean into our next product category, which are side spoilers. I don't know if I'll end up doing both of these or it'll just be kind of mix of both, but side spoilers, we did some for the MT-09 actually. I'll put some pictures on screen of what we mean by side spoilers. They're basically called sort of side wings or GP wings for the side of the bike, but we are wanting to do quite a bit with this area in terms of aftermarket panels, so yeah. Horn guard. This will be another very nice and simple product. We've made quite a few horn guards over the past few years, all of which are very similar, powder coated in a nice textured matte black finish. Look really nice. We might put some kind of logo on the face of it. Depending on what we make a horn guard for, we try to have some kind of matching logo in there, whether that's a Hornet logo or a Motor Guzzi logo, depending on whatever we're making it for. So for the Honda 1000 Hornet, I'm sure we'll have some kind of nice pattern in there. It's just to protect your horn from all the crap that the front wheel brings up really, similar to what a radiator guard is for. So a horn guard, certainly something we'll be doing, nice and simple and cheap product that'll be. Seat rack. Now what we're thinking of doing here is some sort of rack that replaces the pillion seat to allow the use of whatever you want really, whatever a rack is for. If you want some soft luggage on there of some sorts, just some tying points to tie things down to, some sort of seat rack, we're going to make that. It's likely to replace the pillion seat, gives you a nice rack there, as there's not really any strap points for anything on this bike, so we're going to give you one by making some sort of rack. This is likely to be powder coated in a nice textured matte black finish, just like the horn guard and the radiator guards. Now along with the seat rack, we're going to have a seat cowl or seat cover available as well. Exactly what it says on the tin, this will be an aesthetic product that covers the pillion seat. It'll be available in a simple matte black, however we'll also paint the seat cowls as well in all four colours that the Hornet comes in. So it's a nice way, if you don't really carry pillions that often, to cover your pillion seat, adds a bit more colour to your bike. And we might try and go a little bit more sporty as well with our seat cowl. And if you've got a seat cowl on your bike, you've got a pretty good excuse not to have to take your wife with you as well. Can I come out with you, darling? No, sorry, Duck, there's a seat cowl on there. A rear hugger. We're likely going to create a full rear hugger for this bike. This will be a painted accessory as well. There is an OEM hugger on the bike, however we tend to like to replace these with our own. We'll try to add a bit of styling to it. We'll try to make it longer as well, so it gives you a bit more coverage. So we will have a rear hugger available at some point. This is also likely to be another painted accessory as well, so we'll paint those in red, grey, white and all the other colours the bike comes in. The rear hugger on this bike is actually two different pieces. You've got the hugger itself and then the chain guard is separate, so we're not sure if we're going to incorporate a chain guard ourselves, just have the middle bit. We're not sure yet, but we'll certainly look into that. Very similar to our hugger extension as well. I'm sure you know what an extender fender is. I showed you that earlier. We're going to do the exact same thing, but for the OEM rear fender at the back. A simple extension just increases the length of your OEM guard. If you don't want to splash out on a full replacement rear hugger, just get a hugger extension and it will do the same job. So at some point, we'll have a hugger extension available as well. A spray guard, something that does a very similar job to a full rear hugger or a hugger extension, is a spray guard. We're going to be making one of them for this bike as well. That is a guard that sits around here and attaches to there. We've done spray guards before for quite a few bikes in the past, and this will likely be one, and we'll make one for if we think it needs one. Now for the time being, that concludes the list of accessories that we have planned. I can already tell you there are going to be more than that list. We are going to have a tail tidy available at some point. Obviously this is one of them bikes that comes with an extremely large OEM tail tidy. We're going to provide a nice simple black replacement to go right there. So we will have a tail tidy available at some point. It's all very early days at the moment, as I said, but we wanted to touch base, introduce ourselves to you owners, if you hadn't heard of us before, to keep an eye out for all the exciting things that we have planned for this very new Honda 1000 Hornet. Make sure to leave a like if you've enjoyed and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any updates on any of the content we make on this bike, and I will see you in the next one.